So here I've got a mix. It's heavy, maybe rocky, but the instrumentation is pretty simple. We got just drums, one guitar player who did doubles, a bass, and keys. And for this particular session, it was a songwriter who was doing like a lot of different types of songs. There wasn't really one area of something, so we couldn't really get specialty players for each genre. So the same players were switching from country or indie, or there were a lot of instances where our instrumentation maybe wasn't ideal. And this is one way I think can really help in a situation like this. So we've got our drums here. These are just kind of control room talkbacks and stuff from the session. So don't worry about this stuff up here. I have the count and the click, the band talkback, control room talkback, stuff like that. But basically I just have a really rough mix as far as drums going to a drum bus, which there's nothing on it. Bass, DI, and amp going to a bass bus with just a limiter on it. Guitar printing, all this was, I could actually get rid of it, but whatever. This is two mics coming in on into Pro Tools. I'm basically recording through an aux, right? So what that allows me to do is blend two mics into one track. So I don't have to fiddle with those two mics. If I like the sound, I'm committing it down to one track, and really that's all that's doing. And it's just left over from the sessions, so we can just go ahead and hide that guy. Won't make a difference. The guitars here, I just have a little bit going on, just like a high pass here. I mean, a little bit more of that same thing, like a high pass at 111, low pass at 9.7, and then there's just this kind of noise reducer, which isn't really doing much, but there were some parts in it where you could hear. It was pretty beneficial that it has kind of a gated sound to it, but really I just want to show you what's happening here. On the bus, I've just got Pro Q3 boosting a little around 25. I'm low passing even harder, high passing around here just to kind of make space for that other sound, but just so you can hear that. And then a little limiter. So I'm just controlling it, boosting it by 13 dB, which seems like a lot, but I don't record my guitars that hot. But I'm also have the output turned down to almost 13. So let's take a listen to what we have. Let me try to find a chorus here. Here we go. So let's just take a listen to what the guitars sound like on their own. Let's take a listen to the bass just so you can see what that sounds like too. So nice and dirty. We have a DI and an amp, and I like to blend those. Here are the drums. Let me show you what I ended up with here for the guitars, and this is going to sound a little funny on its own. It's definitely got some chorusing on both sides. It's going to take up some stereo space. Layered with the guitars, you kind of end up with this cool texture. Check this out. They're both kind of enhancing each other. So take a listen in the mix without that keys part. And then with that keys part. let's bring in the EQ I had for the guitars. And then once you hear that, it's really apparent once I take it out and how weak it all sounds. So take a listen to this. Now, if we want to make the guitars stand out, we could just limit the guitars a little harder and literally make them more present in the mix. So let's try that. And that's not bad. I mean, I think they could come up a little bit from where they were. It's just, that's not doing it. It needs more grit. It needed more something. And the bass wasn't really doing that. I mean, the bass is holding down what it needs to hold down. So the bass is definitely nasty right there. But it just needed that extra grit that in that moment just needed that extra little help. Now, to show you what this sound was originally, here is that sound. It's just kind of an 8-bit thing. Put on this little Tone Forge Jason Richardson on here just to treat it like a guitar to see what happens. I'm not really sure if it's going to stay on here, but I was just messing with it. I mean, really, I think the answer is kind of a blend of that dirty thing with Jason Richardson and the clean of just that. So let's just literally duplicate, and we'll just turn off one of these Jason Richardson. Go to a different part of the song and see what we can't figure out here. I like what that's doing to it. You want to be careful and not make this stand out that it's super obvious you're stacking keys parts on top of this. It's not about making guitars sound better, just about kind of layering and thickening what this needs to be, because this song feels a little bit industrial. It feels heavy. It needed more help than what was there. And as far as a part, you can see it's literally just the melody line of what the guitar is playing. So check this out. Sometimes just layering these weird different sounds on something that doesn't seem to fit, because what would be the initial reaction is sometimes to layer another guitar on top of this, or just constantly more guitar parts on top of what's already here if it's not working. But maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe look to the keys, find a weird sound that fills up that sonic space that's not already taken up with the guitars. And you can kind of end up with these different textures. If you don't like this, that's cool, because I'm not totally sure I like exactly where this is at yet. There's no rules to any of this. Have fun with it. There you go. Well, thanks, guys. Again, I'm Resident Loser Jeremy. You take it easy. See ya.